There we go. Hold on. Let me get to my announcement and then we'll start.
Get your spiel.
I got it. Will the meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission for Wednesday, November 3rd, 2021, please come to order? This evening will be a virtual planning and zoning meeting hosted by Zoom. During this meeting, our procedures will be as follows. 1, when you first enter the meeting, you will be in the virtual waiting room until the meeting host admits you. 2, please be aware that your camera, if you have one, and your microphone will be muted by the meeting host when you enter the meeting. You can turn on your camera at any time so you can be seen by others when and if you choose to. In order to run an efficient and orderly meeting in this virtual environment, unless stated otherwise by the meeting chairman during the meeting host will keep everyone other than the commission members muted. You will still be able to hear everything said by the commission members, even if you are muted and your camera is not on. There will be the opportunity for public comment during the public hearings, at which time the public participants will be unmuted. 3, the secretary will read the legal call of the meeting as published according to Governor Lamont's executive order. 4, during the public hearing, the applicant will be invited to present the application, explaining to the commission and others present what is being requested. The meeting host will share all related documents on screen as needed. In addition, all applications and supporting materials for each application on the agenda are available through the public meeting calendar page of the town website, www.ci.guilford.ct.us, and also through a direct link on the planning and zoning page. 5, comments of town agencies will be read for each application if there are any. There will be clarifying questions from commissioners. Then there will be the opportunity for clarifying questions from the audience. Please raise your hand through the Zoom platform and wait to be called on and unmuted. First, those who wish to support the application may come forward. Second, those who oppose the application will then come forward. As this is a public hearing, it must be recorded. It is necessary for speakers to identify themselves each time they speak by stating their name and address. 7, the applicant will then have the opportunity to address any questions or concerns raised by the public or commissioners. 8, once the public hearing is closed, the applicant is free to leave or remain for the balance of the public hearing and the regular meeting, during which the commission will try to reach a decision on each application. Each applicant will be notified in writing.
Guilford Planning and Zoning.
Pardon me? Let me mute George. Sorry. Each applicant will be notified in writing as the decision of the commission and has the right to appeal to Superior Court if desired. 9, decisions of this meeting are available the day after the meeting by calling the Planning and Zoning Department 203-453-8039 or emailing planning.zoning@ci.guilford.ct.us after 9 a.m. You will have the good fortune of speaking with Lisa Piombino. 10, all actions taken tonight by the commission will be held on a roll call vote. All commissioners and staff will identify themselves for the record before speaking. Seated this evening are the following commissioners. I'd ask that you raise your hand, identify yourself, and state your name and address for the record. Richard Wallace.
Good evening.
Let's see, Jamie Stein.
Hello.
Alan Brown.
Yep.
Bill Freeman.
Hello.
Sean Cosgrove.
Here.
Let's see. We missed anyone? I'm Phil Johnson, so I think we've got everybody. Do we miss anyone? We do not have Frank D'Andrea. We do not have Scott Edmond. So I believe we're ready to go. Richard, would you be kind enough to read the legal notice? Hold on, before we do that, seated this evening, our staff, George Kroll, town planner and current acting zoning enforcement officer, Lisa Piombino, planning and zoning administrative assistant. This meeting will be recorded via the Zoom platform available on the town website for viewing. The secretary will now, or the former secretary, Richard Wallace, will now read the legal notice.
Emeritus. Legal notice, Guilford Planning and Zoning Commission. Notice is hereby given that the Guilford Planning and Zoning Commission will hold a public hearing on November 3rd, 2021. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, this meeting will be conducted through a web and phone meeting only. Attendees are advised not to go to the regular community center location because a physical meeting will not take place. See and sign in information below. The meeting ID is 916-8856-4828 with a passcode of 017621. The following applications will be heard. 2158 BPR LLC, 2158 Boston Post Road, map 78, lot 9, zone R5 and R8. Special permit request per section 273-36A to construct 4 30-foot by 96-foot greenhouses and a 60-foot by 120-foot wood frame structure for storage in water tanks. Mark and Julie Haight, 651 Clabbard Hill Road, map 81, lot 34A, zone R8. Special permit request for section 273-36A to construct a 32-foot by 45-foot detached barn. Douglas Hume, 93 Water Street, map 32, lot 29, zone R3,
Vamos aos últimos.
for a 792 square foot car garage, two-car garage. Town of Guilford, 50 Driveway, map 34, lot 17-1, zone I1, coastal site review plan for recommend replacement of municipal fueling station. Copies of these applications are available for inspection in the Planning and Zoning Office and on the town website at www.ciguilford.ct.us. At this hearing, persons may attend either by phone or web communications and shall be heard. All written correspondence shall be submitted to the ci.guilford.ct.us. Documents are available at the Planning and Zoning Office. Call 203-453-8039 for assistance. Dated this 12th day of October, 2021, Phil Johnson, Chairman.
Thank you very much. Can I please have a motion to open?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. I'll call the vote. Sean Cosgrove,
Aye.
Alan Brown,
Aye.
Amy Stein,
Yes.
Richard Wallace,
Yes.
Bill Freeman.
Yes.
I'll also vote to open. First item on our agenda is 2158 BPR LLC, 2158 Boston Post Road, map 78, lot 9, zone R5 and zone R8. Special permit request per section 273-36A to construct 4 30 by 96-foot greenhouses and a 60-foot by 120-foot wood frame structure for storage and water tanks. Is someone here to present this for us?
Yes, hopefully you can hear me. Jim Preddy, Criscolo Engineering.
Yes.
I apologize for the quality. I'm actually in the parking lot of the East Haven Planning and Zoning Commission meeting right now. I've double booked tonight. In any event, we had presented this a couple meetings ago. The town engineer had an issue with the existing driveway, so we have worked that out. And she wanted a dumpster enclosure noted on the plan for the apartments in the front, which we've also noted. I've specified a couple of lights, just a very simple, less than 100-watt bulb by the door, man door, and then I specified an LED floodlight for the rear of the building. I also clarified on the plan what was greenhouse and what was wood frame structure. The wood frame structure is actually only 20 by 60. The rest of it's greenhouse. And then I think the only other item that someone had concerned about or asked for was pulling the crushed stone away from that. Is that the western property line on the top of the drawing? We pulled it away 5 feet and we're putting in a curb there to keep the crushed stone on our side of the property line. And I hope that those were the items that were kind of outstanding.
George, do you have the notes in terms of anything that might have been outstanding on that? Hold on, George, you're still muted. Let me unmute you. I have to unmute. George, hold on one sec. You have to unmute. I muted you when your phone
Yep.
rang.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
I think you have a memo from the town engineer, which confirms what Jim just said.
Okay, let me see if I can pull that up.
I have it here, Phil.
If you could read that in, Richard, that would be terrific.
To the Planning and Zoning Commission from Janet Plasiak, PE Town Engineer, dated November 2nd, 2021. RE 2158 Boston Post Road revised plan. I have received the revised special permit plan for the above referenced property. The revised plan has provided for a wider driveway to be constructed with a max slope of 12% in compliance with our standards. Lighting on the site is called out as a full cutoff and night sky compliant. With regards to stormwater management, as long as the proposed driveway and the site are proposed to be built with crushed stone and the buildings have a drip edge and no gutters, I don't see any reason for more elaborate measures to be taken. This plan includes a dumpster enclosure to be built at the front parking lot for the residential units, which addresses my concern raised on September 1st memo.
Thank you. Are there any questions from commissioners with respect to this application? Oh, I should kick this back to the applicant and ask if there's anything additional that you'd like to present.
No, Jim Preddy again, I think we had, covered the guts of it the first time, and there was just those outstanding details that we have since worked out. The driveway proved to be a little more involved than we thought because of a well and a gas line, but we got it worked out, and the town engineer was satisfied, so.
Thank you. Thank you very much for working with them on that. I know it's expensive and costly, but we kind of only get one opportunity to get it right. So we appreciate your working with them. Are there any questions from commissioners with respect to this application?
I have one, Phil.
Yes, Richard.
Has Mr. Preddy seen the memo from Sonia Mink, from Sonia Marino, dated October 5th?
Do we have that?
Yes.
Why am I out of sync with these?
That was presented at the last meeting, I believe.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, because I had my issue last meeting. I couldn't attend.
I don't remember what you said, but it was read then.
It basically, because the application meets the requirement for 19-13B100 for above referenced property. Soil testing completed August of 2020. And code complying area has been identified on the property. The proposed application does not reduce the potential repair area for on-site subsurface sewage. Is this, disposal system. The separation distances between the accessory structures and the SSDS comply with site requirements. So it's really just a statement of compliance. So any other questions from commissioners?
Phil, this is Jamie. I have just two quick questions.
Sure.
George, can you show us on the drawing the dumpster enclosure? I think that involves just scrolling towards the road.
Yeah, I was trying to find that before.
It's out in the front.
Top right.
Gotta go out a little farther.
Yeah, a little bit more.
So you write the square down toward the bottom corner of the property.
Oh, okay.
It's almost where it is now. The
Okay.
dumpster sits on the pavement about that spot now.
I see.
And so that's where we,
You're talking about right here.
yes.
Yeah.
Thanks. And Jim, is there any proposed signage?
No, not at this point. I mean, he knows that if he does, again, this isn't for people to come to. This is he's growing and then delivering it to offsite retail.
Okay. Thanks.
Any additional questions from commissioners?
So as I Phil, Richard here. So I take it to mean that this will not be a retail operation. This will be a distributorship, basically.
Yeah.
Yes, he grows the produce in the greenhouses and then brings it to other places to be sold.
Thank you.
Any other questions from commissioners? I will then open up the floor and ask if there are any questions from the public. Remember, If you are muted, we can't hear you. If your camera is off, if you have one, we can't see if you raise your hand. So you got to figure out a way to communicate with us. So in that case, with no questions. Yes, Mike Salapia, can I unmute? I'm going to ask to unmute you. And Mike, can you unmute yourself? There we go. Hey, Mike.
Yes, I didn't have a question about it. I'm the next one up for Clapboard
Okay.
Road. Sorry about that.
That's okay. We'll get to you ASAP. Let me just kind of go through the Roberts rules thing. Would anyone from the public care to comment in favor of this application? Is there anyone here that would like to speak against this application? With no further comment, would someone like to make a motion to close? George, we have to make a motion to close and then we can deal with this during the deliberations, or do we make a?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, would someone like to make a motion to close?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second,
Very good. I'll call the vote. Bill Freeman,
Yes.
Richard Wallace,
yes.
Jamie Stein,
Yes,
Alan Brown,
Yes.
Sean Cosgrove.
Aye.
And I will also vote to close. We will act on this tonight. Next
Thank
item
you,
on our-
everybody.
Certainly. Thank you.
Good night.
And again, thank you for working with the town engineers to bring it into compliance with our regulations. That's
Of course.
makes life
no
easier
problem.
for all of us. Mark and Julie Haight, 651 Clabber Hill Road, map 81, lot 34, zone R8, special permit request per section 273-36A to construct a 32 by 45 foot detached barn. Just for the record, this application has received a variance from the Zoning Board of Appeals with respect to height. So they're before us for a special permit for the size of the barn, if I'm correct, George.
Yes.
Thank you. So is someone here to present on behalf of the Haights? Hi, Mike. Sorry, let me unmute you. There you go.
Okay, I think I'm in.
You're in.
Hello, my name is Mike Salafia. I'm the contractor for Mark and Julie Haight at 651 Clapboard Hill. He wants to put up a workshop and he wants it to look like a New England barn. He's proposing 32 by 45. It's only going to have heat in it and electricity. There is no plumbing for it. He just really wants it for storage and a workshop area.
Terrific. Do we have plans for this, George?
We do.
We could pop up just,
Here's the, this is the site plan. Make it a little bigger here. Hopefully. This is the loc, are you seeing my, the plan?
Yes,
This is the proposed location right here,
That's correct.
Clabber Hill Road. This is the existing house driveway. This receives a
Existing.
variance for height.
right.
Yes, we did.
For the heck of it, just so everyone knows where we're talking about, I'm going to screen share for a sec. So here is the location. And if you go up Clabber Hill Road, there's there's kind of, it's on a curve. And it's just before it's called Old Scroggy Pond, but here's the lot. I think we saw this for a potential subdivision a while back, and then that didn't come together, and the owner has chosen to just put a barn on. But I put this out just so everyone knows where it is that we're talking about. It's kind of really quite rural, without any impact on abutting neighbors that I can see. So I throw that out. Mike, are you okay with me asking questions now from commissioners?
Absolutely.
Does anyone have any questions with respect to this special permit request? So the special permit is because it exceeds, what's the square footage for an accessory building, George?
Anything above 750 requires a special permit.
Thank you. So that's the reason we're saying this as a special permit. It's just the size and, I probably drive by this site 3 or 4 times a week. And I don't think it would be out of scale or proportion at all with this location. But I'll put it out to any commissioners if there are questions they would like to ask the applicant or the contractor for the applicant.
Phil, this is Jamie again. Did we hear from the architect on this application? Am I confusing the 2 barns, maybe? 2 barns that got height variances? Is this the first time we're seeing this application? Anybody?
Yes.
Okay. I remember, excuse me, recently approving a barn that was of the same sort of character,
Yeah,
but height was an issue.
it's not uncommon. In fact, it's one of the issues I think we're going to address in our new zoning
Oh.
code to try to reduce the need to look at this as frequently as we are or have been.
I see. That's it. Thanks.
Thank you. Are there any other questions from commissioners? Mike, if you're okay, I'll put it out and ask for questions from the public.
Yes,
Would anyone like to ask a question of the applicant with respect to the barn that they're proposing to build at 651 Clapboard Hill Road? No. Okay. Do we have any?
We do have building plans, if I can,
Sure.
I think I can share this with you. You remember, Mike, these were sideways when we had the variance application.
yeah.
Now
Better
the right
job
side-
today,
The right
George.
side up, there's the front elevation. Are you seeing this?
Yes.
I see it.
Okay, there's the left side elevation. Right side. Rear. Floor plan. Second floor. That's basically it.
Looks like a nice barn.
Pretty
Thank you.
Um,
conventional barn building.
I'm gonna screen share. Jamie, do you want to tackle the letter that we have from Kevin
Sure.
McGee?
Yep. Dated September 1st, 2021. To Guilford Planning and Zoning Commission from Kevin McGee, Environmental Planner, regarding Mark and Julie Haight, 651 Clapboard Hill Road, Guilford, Connecticut, 06437, Assessor Map 81, Lot 34A. The applicant is proposing to construct a 1,440 square foot barn with a gravel driveway. The work being conducted is just outside the inland wetlands regulated review area. The applicant is utilizing the low impact development best management practices of capturing roof water in infiltration trenches. The site plans for the project have sedimentation and erosion control procedures that are in compliance with 273-97B subsection 6 of the zoning regulations. In order to make sure that the natural resources are protected, I recommend the following conditions of approval. Number 1, the town of Guilford zoning enforcement officer shall be notified to inspect the sedimentation and erosion control measures prior to any site work. Soil stockpiles should be contained by silt fencing and or hay bales. Soil erosion and sedimentation control measures shall be maintained until vegetation is established or a suitable material is installed to the satisfaction of the zoning enforcement officer.
Thank you very much. And for the record, in Guilford, we call it Clapboard Hill.
Clapboard.
It's like New Haven. It's the same kind of idea.
There's a slurring of syllables there.
Yeah, you kind of roll it. And so, do we have any other memos to read in on this, George? Let's see.
Go.
Yep, we do. So let's see. How about Sean? You want to grab this one?
Sure. To planning and zoning from Shirley Mickens, RS, September 1st, 2021. We're 651 Clapboard Hill Road, accessory structure / barn. The application for an accessory structure barn will need to be 5 feet or more from the subsurface sewage disposal system and will not reduce the potential repair area for the subsurface sewage disposal system, the applicant will need to apply for a B100A application from the Health Department before final approval is granted. Shirley Mickens, RS.
Mike, does that make sense to you?
Absolutely. I think we already did the B100A, but I'm not sure.
Is this the same one we just did that?
Yeah.
All right. In that case, I will stop screen sharing. And I'll kick it out to the public for any questions. Would anyone like to speak in favor of this application? Would anyone like to speak against this application? As you may know, Mike, we have a 2-meeting requirement for special permits, which can be waived by a majority vote, a super majority vote of the commissioners. Does anyone feel the need to have a second meeting on this? And or would someone like to make a motion to waive the second public hearing?
So I'll make a motion.
Okay, we have Richard with the motion, Sean with the second. So I'll call a vote on waiving the second public hearing. Sean Cosgrove,
Yes.
Alan Brown,
Yep.
Jamie Stein,
Yes.
Richard Wallace,
Yes.
Bill Freeman.
Yes.
I will also vote to waive the second public hearing. Anything else we want to add? We good? Would someone like to make a motion to close?
Motion to close.
Second.
Sean Cosgrove,
Yes.
Alan Brown,
Yes.
Jamie Stein,
Yes.
Richard Wallace,
Yes.
Bill Freeman.
Yes.
And I'll also vote to close. Thank you. We will act on this tonight. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate all your work.
Thank you very much.
Third item on our agenda is Douglas Hoon, 93 Water Street, map 32, lot 29, zone R3 special permit for a 792 square foot 2-car garage. Sounds terrific. Tell us about it.
It's a posted beam structure, one of these kit build structures that come in discrete sizes. 2-car garage in the front, workshop in the back, loft space above. I've been to the zoning board of appeals and received a variance for height. Let's see, it's 42 square feet greater than the allowable 750. I intend to install electricity and heat, natural gas for heat in the building. I'd like to run water utilities to the building, but cap them off until I can get the appropriate permits to put water into the structure as requested by the health department.
Got it.
That's the garage. You're circling there.
Yep.
The drawing package was submitted, shows the architectural details, including 2 gravel drainage trenches to handle runoff. The coastal area management plan was developed by Anderson Engineering and Surveying. The garage is outside the flood zone. And last but not least, I have letters from all 6 of my contiguous neighbors voicing support for the plan for the project. And I ask for your approval.
Thank you. Just out of curiosity, just because I like seeing those and I like when applicants actually get those letters, have you submitted those to?
I have. Lisa has all 6. I can read them into the record if you prefer, but Lisa has them.
Well, why don't we read 2 of them?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes,
They're in our package.
they are in our package. Well, why don't we take the first 2 or 3, just so we can get a good sense for support from the neighbors, because
Okay.
that would be terrific.
Do you want to read them or do you want me to do that?
Why don't you do it? That'd be great.
Okay. Let me pull it up. Let's see. This is from Phil and Kathy Hutchins, my neighbors across the street at, I believe it's 100 Water Street. Dear Doug, thank you for taking the time to visit with us regarding your proposed project at 93 Water Street. Kathy and I spent considerable time reviewing the documentation you provided. We want you and Carol to know that we are in complete support of your proposal We believe that the plan was well thought out and will bring all property values in the neighborhood up. If we can be of further assistance, please let us know. Phil and Kathy Hutchins. I have a second one from Dennis and Tracy McGinley, neighbors to the west on River Street. Hi, Doug and Carol. Thank you for sending the letter with the details of the project you intend to build on your property at 93 Water Street. It was very thorough and informative. The finished product looks like it will be beautiful and certainly in character with the neighborhood. We wholeheartedly support your project without reservation. Good luck as you move forward. And I'll give you one more. This is from Andy and Melissa Carroll across the street. Doug and Carol, Melissa and I are in full support of your plans to construct a pergola on the west side of your house and the addition of a detached garage on the east side. We feel that the plans you presented are well thought out and will fit appropriately with your existing home and the surrounding properties. We feel the height variance request for the garage will not be obtrusive and will fit proportionally with your house. Robert and Melissa Carroll, 86 Water Street.
Thank you. I mean, I have to tell you, from my experience, I've been on planning and zoning now for 7 years. Actually, having letters of support from abutting neighbors is very influential in terms of us having a comfort level with approving stuff like this. I mean, not that this is a crazy application by any stretch. I mean, you're 42 square feet larger than you could do by right, but we do thank you very much for getting those and also reaching out to your neighbors because, you know, it's impactful upon them as well. So are there any questions from commissioners with respect to this application?
You're seeing the architectural plans, I believe.
We do have a letter from Kevin McGee. Bill, you want to grab that one? I can pull it up on the screen if you'd like.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Here we go.
November 2nd, 2021, to the Guilford Planning and Zoning Commission from Kevin McGee, Environmental Planner. RE special permit, Douglas Hoon, 93 Water Street, Guilford, Connecticut, 06437. The applicant is proposing to construct a 792 square foot garage with second floor workshop. Work being conducted is located outside of the flood hazard area. The applicant has completed the checklist to guide low impact development best management practices and is infiltrating stormwater from the roof into his stone trenches. The site plan provides for erosion and sedimentation control measures that are designed to protect the adjacent properties. In order to make sure that the applicant, that the adjacent properties are protected during the construction process, I recommend the following conditions of approval. The town of Guilford zoning enforcement officer should be notified to inspect the sedimentation and erosion control measures prior to any site construction. Soil stockpiles should be contained by silt fencing and or hay bales. Soil erosion and sedimentation control measures shall be maintained until vegetation is established or suitable material is installed to the satisfaction of the zoning enforcement officer.
Thank you very much. Do we have any? We do have another one. Alan, you're up. You wanna grab this one?
The print is too small for me, but
Hold on, let me see if I can watch this. Hold on. Dude, watch this, Alan. Check this
Nice
out.
try, Alan.
Dynamic zoom.
Yeah.
there we go.
Go ahead, Alan. Bring it on.
All right. I can't read the top
All
restriction.
right. I'll pull you out of the fire on this one. The application for an accessory structure / two-car garage located at the property referenced above meets the requirements of 19-13-B100A. The garage is required to be 10 feet or more from the subsurface sewage disposal system and 5 feet or more from the roof overhang and gravel trench. No plumbing will be allowed to the garage without submitting additional information to the health department. The garage will not reduce the potential repair area for the subsurface sewage disposal system. The applicant will need to apply for a B100A application from the health department before final approval is granted. Shirley Minkins, RS. Sorry.
I'd like to just repeat as far having just listened to this. I spoke with Shirley a couple of days ago, and I understand her concerns. I would like to run plumbing or water line into the building and cap it so that in the future, should we decide to extend plumbing into the building, that we'll have that stuff already through the foundation. But I understand and agree to her other request.
I think that's a reasonable request in my mind. Does anyone have any problems with that?
No.
No, obviously, before you turn the water on, you have to find a way to get it out.
Sure.
And where it's going to go. So we will leave that between you and the health department. But that really doesn't relate to our special permit with respect to the application that's been presented. So are there any questions from the commissioners?
Yeah, Phil, it's Jamie. I just had a question about setback from the street and from the adjacent property. I guess if I'm looking at your home from Water Street, you're building on the right, just off
Correct.
the existing drive, and then not to the, there's like a patch of land to the left, but you're not building there, you're building to the right.
Correct. So the setback from the street exceeds the 35-foot setback requirement, and the setback from the east property line is 12 or 13 feet, which exceeds the side property setback. So the only thing that required a variance here was the height. At 22 feet, we exceed the height requirement by 7 feet, and that variance has been approved already.
Thank you.
Sure.
Any other questions from the commissioner? Are there any questions from the public with respect to this application? Or would anyone like to speak either in favor or against this application? As I said earlier, there is a 2-meeting requirement unless there's a vote of the Planning and Zoning Commission for waiver of the second public meeting. Is anybody not comfortable with waiving the second public hearing? And if so, would someone like to make a motion to waive the second public hearing?
So moved.
Make them, second it.
We got Sean as the first, Richard as the second. I'll call a vote. Sean Cosgrove,
Aye.
Alan Brown,
Yes.
Amy Stein,
Yes,
Richard Wallace,
Yes.
Bill Freeman,
Yes,
and I'll also vote to waive. We will act on your application this evening. Thank you very much, brother. Again,
Thank you.
reiterate, I sincerely appreciate you reaching out to the neighbors. That's always helpful for us and you in the process.
It is helpful for me. I wanted to get them on board early. Thank you.
You bet. Next is Town of Guilford, 50 driveway, map 34, lot 17-1, zone I1's coastal site plan for replacement of municipal fueling station. Is anyone here to present on behalf of the Town of Guilford?
Yep, I am.
Hi, Michael. If you could state your name and address for the record, that would be appreciated.
Mike Citrella, 34 Donovan Road, Naugatuck, Connecticut. So I'm the assistant town engineer. I'm here along with Janice Plazak, the town engineer, on behalf of the town for the coastal site plan application for the replacement of the municipal fueling station at the Public Works facility. So our current fuel system is located at 47 driveway and includes 2 underground tanks. One is for diesel and one is for gasoline. Both of them have reached the end of their life cycles and have to be replaced. That current system is in the AE flood zone with the base flood elevation of 12. So we plan to replace this system with an above ground fuel tank located on the adjacent property, 50 driveway, which the town recently acquired. Moving it to this property provides us the necessary space for an above ground system and allows for easier use by municipal vehicles. This location is also outside of the flood zone. These plans have been reviewed by both the building and the fire departments and will be compliant with the required codes. Janice and I are happy to answer any additional questions you may have.
I have a quick question. During the hurricane events that we had in the last 10 years, did these flood tanks have problems? And the current ones?
Janice may have better idea of that than I do, but I don't believe they were ever flooded.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was kicked out of the meeting by Zoom for a second.
I was just curious. I mean, obviously, it's in all of our best interests to not have fuel tanks underground in a flood zone. I'm just curious if during Sandy or Irene or any of the flood events of late, there have been issues with these tanks being, what would the term be, corrupted?
No, it's my understanding that while we're in the flood zone with the current facility, it was high enough during those 2 storm events that it was not inundated with floodwaters. So the tanks themselves are in the ground. They are beyond their permitted life at this time. And so we're looking to replace them with above ground tank system, which is most property owners are going this route in order to avoid the complications of concern for spills with underground storage tanks and having to worry about monitoring and
If it's leaking,
the
you know it.
challenges of underground storage tanks leaking. I'm sorry?
If it's leaking, you know it.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
If the
Yes,
tank
yes,
is
exactly.
leaking,
And these tanks, even though they are above ground, will have monitoring system in it for, monitoring fuel levels and things like that. But certainly in the ground is a lot more challenging. We do monitor and test regularly, but still it's a potential environmental hazard.
well,
And I would assume, this is Sean Cosgrove, I would assume that the older tanks are being removed.
Right.
Yes,
They will be taken out of the ground.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the pump station there where the pumps are will also be removed.
Yeah. And this makes sense just based on the potential future for Long Hill Road, Route 80.
Right. It'll be movable as well.
Right.
perfect.
Phil,
Well, we probably have a memo from you. We have one from Kevin for sure. So why don't we tackle a couple of those? Sean, do you want to grab the memo from Kevin? I think it's from Kevin.
If George would be so kind as to.
I
put it
just
up.
did.
Okay.
Okay. The print is okay for me.
You're good with that?
Yeah, I'm good. November 2nd, 2021, Guilford Planning and Zoning Commission, Kevin McGee, Environmental Planner, regarding coastal area management review, town of Hubbard, 50 driveway, Guilford, Connecticut, 06437, assessor map 34, lot 17-1. The town of Guilford is proposing to install a 10,000 gallon. Are there 2 tanks or 1 tank?
2. There's a gasoline tank and a diesel tank, but they're all in one unit.
Oh, okay, all right. 10,000 gallon above ground fuel tank set on a concrete pad and access way. Work will also include the removal of 2 underground storage tanks and fuel dispensers. The proposed work is located approximately 125 feet away from a tidal creek. The coastal resource policies applicable for the property are shorelands, coastal hazard area, and tidal wetlands. No erosion and sedimentation control measures are noted on the plan. The area between the proposed work area and the wetlands is protected by a soil berm. Conducted could have a minor impact on the adjacent coastal resources if an erosion and sedimentation, those measures are not properly installed and maintained. In order to make sure that the coastal resources are protected, I recommend the following conditions of approval. Number 1, erosion control measures should be installed around the adjacent catch basins. The town of Guilford zoning enforcement officer should be notified to inspect the sedimentation erosion control measures prior to site construction. Any soil stock piles should be contained by silt fencing and/or hay bales. Soil erosion and sedimentation control measures shall be maintained until vegetation is established or suitable materials installed to the satisfaction of the zoning enforcement officer.
Janice, quick question, or Mike, who's doing the tank removal? Is that town staff, or we having a
No.
remediation company, or what's?
Yeah, we have to hire a
Sorry, I lost you
State
on that one.
proposals. Okay, sorry, my coverage is coming in and out.
Mike, you grab it.
Yeah, we're hiring.
Yeah, I could follow up on that.
Come on, Mike.
So yeah, we are working with a contractor who has a state bid contract, who will be doing the removal of the tank. They're also going to be doing the electrical hookups to the new system, that including the hookups to the 50 driveway, the current building. That's where the electrical is going to be connected to, and then all the additional electrical components to the new system.
Terrific. We have another letter here from Shirley. Alan, I've zoomed it up as big as I can get it.
I'm so glad he was able to see the last writing.
You got it?
Yeah, yeah, Alan,
Planning and zoning, Shirley Mickens, RS, November 11th, 2021. 50 driveway accessory structure, municipal fuel station. The application for the accessory structure municipal fuel station is located at the property reference is a replacement like and needed not to be considered under requirements for 19-13-B100A. The health department is able to approve the application under the building permit. Shirley Mickens, ARS. The one question I had was, there is a cement foundation under this tank, correct?
Correct. Yep. The manufacturer of the tank is also going to be providing a prefabricated concrete slab that this will sit on.
And you don't feel it's necessary to have it bordered all the way around with a cement structure up a couple feet, so in case anything happens, it won't leak out onto the property?
So around the tank slab, there will also be a concrete slab for the vehicles to sit on when they're fueling. So there would be plenty of concrete space for in the event that any leaking is taking place before it would go into the soil.
Yeah, so I think the concern is like there's no moat or anything like that around the tanks. It's just it's a concrete encased tank on top of a concrete slab.
Correct.
Phil,
Yes, Richard.
I'll backtrack for Janice. I'm on Public Works now, and I was on during Sandy and Irene. There were no floodage of these tanks at that time, even the underground ones.
That's a
The
good thing.
current tanks.
That's a good thing because I play golf and tennis at Pine Orchard, and their fuel tanks went crazy when they got flooded. So it's a good thing to not flood those things. Let me stop the screen share. We'll kick it back. This is just a site plan as opposed to a
The coastal site plan, that's why you're having a public hearing.
correct. So we do not need to have a waiver for the second meeting because there's only a one meeting requirement. Are there any additional questions from commissioners? I mean, personally, I think this is a vast improvement over having underground tanks in a flood zone to have above ground tanks out of a flood zone that are potentially movable should a new public works facility be developed.
I had a question for Janice. Isn't this almost just like replacing a gasoline station replaces their tanks every so many years?
Yeah, all underground storage tanks are regulated by DEEP and their underground storage tank regulations. And yes, but in our case, a lot of times gas stations obviously don't have the space needed to do an above ground tank system.
No.
And that's why they tend to just go back in the ground. But here we were fortunate with the purchase of 50 driveway to allow us to have more room on the site to position this above ground system in a way where we can create circulation that's needed for the fueling and all that.
Terrific.
Gotcha.
Any other comments or questions? I didn't see any other memos from town staff. Is that correct, George?
That's right. Mike, I apologize for my sort of clumsy moving around your drawings here. Hopefully the commission members got to see kind of where it is. It's, unless you're familiar with the property down there, it's a little hard to figure it out. I know.
So would someone, commission member like to make a motion to close?
Make a motion to close.
Thank you.
Second.
Oh, I got Jamie in there. Sorry.
Yep.
I'll call the vote. Sean Cosgrove,
Yes.
Alan Brown,
Yes.
Amy Stein,
Yes.
Richard Wallace,
Yes.
Bill Freeman.
Yes.
I'll also vote to close. We will act on this tonight. I feel pretty good about that one. I feel pretty good about all of them, actually, but just.
Yeah, this,
All right, we now have Christopher Healy, Boston Post Road, map 78, lot 13, zone TS-2 and R8 petition for zone boundary change. I think Attorney Beatty is here to present on behalf of the applicant, and I would like, I'm sure I'm not the first to congratulate you on your electoral success. But
Thank you very much.
Actually, I got to him last night.
Yes.
there
Yep.
you go. Well, in any event.
Thank you very much.
It's nice to have solid people.
Thank you. I'll try not to
Please tell us what you want.
This is the second public hearing on this application, by the way.
Right. The commission members may recall last month, I was in front of you. We're trying to come up, my clients are looking to propose a development of this site with a commercial structure at the front and then residential units at the rear. And so the expanding the zone or the map to incorporate the entire parcel as TS2 will allow them to put 16 condominium units. And I sent Mr. Cross, one of the issues that we had at last month's meeting was you didn't have a copy of the proposed site plan, development plan in front of you. And I've sent that to Mr. Crawlin. If he could bring that up on the screen, I would appreciate it.
Okay, I will do that. I just wanted to clarify one thing about this map. You are looking at the property map, I believe now. Does everybody see that? This it's a little bit confusing the way this is labeled, but the rear portion of the property that's crosshatched here is proposed to be TS2 zone. This arrow is kind of drawn off here in an abstract direction. It should I think actually point into this area here. So this area is zoned R8 now, and the proposal is to extend the TS2 zone from this more narrow piece of property in the front up along Boston Post Road to encompass the balance of the property under this ownership, which is labeled, this is where this letter A is. So this area is now R8 and it's proposed to be TS2. Is that correct?
That's correct. Thank you for pointing that out, Mr. Crowell. Appreciate that.
Okay. Yep, George, actually, but.
So let me ask you a question.
Let me see if I can pull up the other drawing. Oh, that's not it. Sorry.
Jeff, while George is pulling us up, let me ask a question. If I recall right, we approved a zone change on an abutting property to, help me out, George, MUC2, I think it is. MUC2, which allowed for them to do residential. Why are we going with TS2 versus a change to the MCU?
MUC2, the thought was, since the front portion was already designated TS2, it would, the designation of the entire parcel of TS2 would be kind of consistent with the other properties on either side of it.
Isn't the one to the left not?
I believe the one to the left is also TS2.
Are you looking at the map right now? Can you see it?
We're looking at the site plan, I believe.
Yeah, that's right. This area in the front along Boston Post Road on both sides is TS2. And then the portion that we recently rezoned to the MUC2 zone abuts this property in the back side over in this area where my cursor is. Can you see that?
And so that rezoning that we did allowed for the residential usage. What usages are allowed in TS2 that would not be allowed? So the slippery slope that we have, Jeff, is that if we approve a zone change, you can do whatever is allowed thereby in the zone, where if in fact, we say, okay, we're happy to approve this as the less invasive, call it less invasive, less intensive use zone that would allow for the residential, and it would have the TS in the front and the MSU in the rear. I'm sure it's just, I'm just asking the question.
Yeah, I think the reason why I don't think we'd be opposed to going with the MUC2 zone. The thought was though that it would just kind of, we wanted it to be consistent, at least along the Boston. When we developed the application, we wanted it to be consistent with the other zones of the neighboring parcels. We didn't want it to go from TS2 to MU back to TS2. That was the thought process behind it.
If you remember, Phil, Kevin's memo from the last public hearing, he was concerned about the intensity of development allowed in the TS2 in this area of the property to the rear, which abuts or is at least close to the so-called Wolf Swamp, which is a real premier wetland. The TS2 zone, as his memo pointed out, includes automobile commercial type uses, automobile repair, automobile fuel sales, and that those are the uses that he thought were particularly undesirable to have in this rear portion of the property.
And those would not be allowed in an MUC2?
They would not be, correct.
So do we have any historical precedent of having a TS2 in the front part of a lot and an MUC2 in the rear? I mean, I know, I don't remember it, but that's.
Well, we do. We have a similar situation over across from the new shopping center, the what we used to call the rock pile, now the real rock pile on the south side there. The front part of that property is I think it's TS2. The rear portion of the property is MUC2.
Right. We approved a residential development.
Right. That's where the big residential development was approved. So that is an example of what you're talking about.
Because we did, if I remember, George, it called for like a small kiosk bank and a few other ancillary retail in the front.
They were talking about doing something like that. Yes.
Yeah.
Attorney Beatty, while this doesn't, meet the needs of your application, would you entertain amending the application to have the rear portion converted to MUC2 versus TS2?
My client wouldn't be opposed to that because their goal is to develop it for residential use. They want to sell and to address partially address Mr. McGee's concerns and the concerns of the commission. The goal is to sell these as a condominium. And so any efforts to change the use from residential down the road would be more challenging because you'd have to negotiate with 16 different property owners to buy their condominiums from them if you wanted to change it from residential to one of those uses that Mr. McGee pointed out were of concern to him.
George, from a process standpoint, obviously the application before it, can we amend the application? Do we have to ask Attorney Beatty to just come before us? I mean, how do we meet their needs as well as protect what we're hoping to protect?
I think the owner or the applicant has to make a new application to rezone it from R8 to MUC2 or whatever he wants to do. So he could withdraw the current application, or you could deny it without prejudice or whatever that means. And then he could resubmit for the MUC 1 or MUC 2, I'm sorry. So there are a couple of different variations, but you could not, I don't believe it would be appropriate for you to
Change it.
in the process, as part of this process, to rezone it something other than what it's been advertised for.
Okay.
I hope you would agree with that, Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously not the preferable course that my client would
Right.
would take, but on the other hand, they want to go forward with this project, and if that's the preferred direction that the commission would like us to go, and then that's what we'll do. You know.
I'll kick it back to other commission members, but my inclination is to make a request to the applicant to withdraw and reapply, asking for MUC2. I think that covers a lot more. It takes a lot of the variables out of play, which is kind of what we're always trying to avoid. You know, we don't want to approve something and then have something else come in as a ha-ha. And I don't think that that's anything that you would put forth.
Right.
And I have known you for a couple years.
Just a few.
Just a few. So I would ask commission members to weigh in, and then we can kick it back to Attorney Beatty and ask what he'd like to do.
Let me just say that, point out that he doesn't have to decide that now.
Okay.
You don't have to make a decision on this application tonight. You could close the public hearing and just table it. And if he decides he wants to withdraw it, then that would be a fine at a later date.
Okay.
But if he wants to withdraw right now, you can do that as well.
Well, let me get some feedback from commissioners, and we'll make a decision about that. Or we'll move forward one way or the other.
Yeah.
Richard, how are you feeling?
On this, I'm physically, I'm feeling fine, thank you. I'm inclined to agree with the discussion here, because the other parcel to it's on the other side on the same side of Route 1 is MUC, and that allows for the residential. So I think this is win for the applicant.
Okay, thank you. Jamie, how about you? I mean, does it make sense what I'm trying to encourage?
Yeah, no, I totally get it. Just what Richard just said, I thought I understood what was happening, but now I have another question. So the two adjacent parcels along Route 1 there are TS2 at the street front, at the front. So this would essentially be creating a kind of like a gap tooth there in the TS2 zone.
No,
right?
I think they would keep the front being, and Jeff, feel free to jump in. I think they would keep the front TS2 and convert the back to MUC2.
Okay, that was sort of my understanding, but what George put forth, I heard just MUC2 for the whole parcel. So then my second question is, where do you draw the line? How do you,
I think you go
arbitrary? What do you do?
I think you go straight across that straight line in the back.
But we don't have to have some other parameters other than that looks neat and tidy. I mean,
straight lines are always good by me.
I have no argument, but there's got to be some reasoning around like setbacks or something. I don't know.
Well, I think that the primary reasoning to go to the MUC2 is the less intense potential uses of the property.
Yeah, no, I get that, and I agree with that. I'm just talking about drawing the line between the front TS2 and the back MU.
I'll leave that to the engineering professionals.
I would too.
Alan, how about you? You okay? Do you have any concerns?
I'm comfortable with what you're saying. I believe that's the best way to go.
Thank you. Bill?
Yeah, I agree with you completely, Phil. And if you look closely at the drawing, it's kind of hard to see, but there actually are setbacks in place on both parcels. And it looks like if you did draw that line straight, it would create the setback for that front piece to where it's supposed to be. So I think that it's pretty straightforward from an engineering standpoint.
Okay, thank you. How about you, Sean?
I'm with you. I think that makes sense
So, in light of George's recommendation, Jeff, what I'm going to do is ask someone to make a motion to close. And if you want to have we don't have to obviously act on this. If you would like us to vote on your application at our next meeting, we can do that. If you have additional thoughts in terms of bringing it to the client on how they would like to proceed, we can do that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that sounds great. The only thing that I would add, just so the commission is aware, is that, we sent letters to the neighboring parcel property owners within that 500-foot area, and we haven't received any responses, positive, negative, or in any way. So, there doesn't seem to be a tremendous amount of concern, at least from the neighbors with regard to this, including the land trust. So, which is the neighbor to our southwest. So,
yeah, I wish I had the ability to wave a magic wand and just amend your application.
I understand. I appreciate it. Your powers are limited. I get it.
Don't say that. Would someone like to make a motion to close?
So moved.
Second.
I'll call the vote. Bill Freeman,
Yes.
Richard Wallace,
Yes.
Amy Stein,
Yes.
Alan Brown,
Yes.
Sean Cosgrove,
Aye.
and I will also vote to close. Jeff, if we can help you in any way to get done what we want to all get done, talk to George.
I will. Thank you very much for your time this evening.
You bet. All right. Deliberation and public hearing. Let's go to some motions. Let's see. Documents.
Motions.
I'm almost there. Hold on, folks. I'm trying to get more organized in terms of, there we go. All right. No, all right. You. All right, so this is 2-1. Hold on. I'm gonna get that back to this. I'm gonna throw this one, Bill Freeman. Would you like to make, let me screen
Yes.
share if you'd
Yep.
like.
I think I have it up, actually.
Okay, great.
Proposed motion 2158 BPR voted that the Guilford Planning and Zoning Commission approve a special permit application for 2158 BPR LLC to construct farm buildings at 2158 Boston Post Road, map 78, lot 9, as shown on property located at 2158 Boston Post Road, dated 8/4/21, revised 10/28/21, Criscolo Engineering. The application is approved with the following conditions. The application is approved based upon the finding that it conforms with the zoning code and will have no adverse impact on adjoining properties. The special permit is effective November 12th, 2021 upon filing with the town clerk.
Do we have any memo from Kevin McGee on that one, George? Oh, you're muted. Unmute. Hold on. There you go.
I think we had the standard memo from the last meeting. So you could just incorporate
Yeah,
that.
it was about silt fencing and,
Yeah.
Subject to the conditions of environmental plan, Kevin McGee.
And Sonia Marino as well.
Correct. Thank you. Would someone like to second the motion?
I'll second.
Great discussion. Any problems?
Pretty straightforward. He came back with everything that was asked of him.
I mean, they asked to change the grading on the road.
Yep.
I mean, the reality is that, greenhouses are kind of a placeholder utilization for property as opposed to, a long-term construction project with major investment. And I don't think it's a problem, but I
I agree.
Great. So we have a motion, we have a second. I'll call the vote. Bill Freeman,
Yes.
Richard Wallace,
Yes.
Amy Stein,
Yes.
Alan Brown,
Yes.
Sean Cosgrove,
Yes.
and I'll also vote yes. Terrific. One down. Next item is, Sean, why don't you grab this one? I'll screen share.
It's 651 Clabber Hill Road, right?
It's
Yes. 651.
Yes.
Yes,
correct.
voted that the Guilford Planning and Zoning Commission approve a special permit application for Mark and Julie Haight, 651 Clapboard Hill Road, map 81, lot 34A, for a detached barn as shown on inland wetlands regulated activity plan prepared for Vango LLC dated March 5th, 2021 by Stevens and Associates. The application is approved with the following conditions. The application is approved based on a finding that with the variance granted, it conforms with the zoning code. The special permit is effective on November 12th, 2021, and upon filing with the town clerk.
I believe there are probably also conditions from Kevin McGee, which should be added to the approval,
And Shirley Mickens.
and Shirley Minkins. Correct, George?
Yes.
Thank you. Any problems or questions? Pretty straightforward, pretty in keeping. I think it's a great barn. I'll call the vote. Sean Cosgrove,
Yes.
Alan Brown,
Yes.
Amy Stein,
Yes.
Richard Wallace,
Yes.
Bill Freeman,
Yes.
and I'll also vote yes. Terrific. I look forward to seeing that barn going up, actually. Next one is for Douglas Hoon, 93 Water Street. How about Jamie? You want to grab that one? Hold on, I'll go
Sure.
down. Do you need me to go down?
I do, yeah, and even I can't read that print. Proposed
Hold
motion.
on, Jamie. There you go. Huh? Is that 2020 vision? Is that-
No, I lost that a while back, yeah. Proposed motion voted that the Guilford Planning and Zoning Commission approve a special permit for Douglas Hoon, 93 Water Street, map 32, lot 29, for a two-car garage as shown on Hoon property dated August 20th, 2021, revised 8/23/2021 by Anderson Associates and Hoon Residents dated 8/24/2021 by Petrichan Architects. This application is approved with the following conditions. I believe that Kevin had some conditions on this as well as Shirley. And I
Correct.
guess a question for the commission, do we want to include anything about running the water line but not hooking up? Is that customary or do we leave that?
It would be my preference to include that the installation of water can be delivered to the facility, but not connected until approved by the health department.
Does that sound good, George? Sounds good to me.
Yeah, that sounds like what Sonia said, yes.
Okay, great. So
Yes, I
this application is approved based upon a finding that with the variance granted, it conforms with the zoning code. The special permit is effective on November 12th, 2021 upon filing with the town clerk.
Great. Can I get a second on that?
Second.
Thank you. Any questions, any problems? Looks like a great addition. One of the things I really, as I said, I really appreciated them going and approaching all the neighbors and explaining what they're doing as opposed to just springing a registered mail letter on them. I think whenever we can get cooperation, and I do think that it will increase the value of the neighbors' properties by increasing the value of their property. So I'm in favor of it. Anyone have a problem?
Nope.
I'll call the vote then. Bill Freeman,
Yes.
Richard Wallace,
Yes.
Sean Cosgrove,
Yes.
Alan Brown,
Yes.
Jamie Stein,
Yes.
and I will also vote yes. I look forward to seeing that one go up as well. All right. This is the next one is 50 Driveway. Alan, you ready?
Make it big, buddy.
I'm making it as big as I can. How's
No,
how
I'm
can you
just
do with
kidding.
that?
I'm just kidding you. That the Guilford Planning and Zoning Commission approve a site plan for coastal site plan application for the town of Guilford 50 driveway map lot 17-1 for a fuel station as shown on Department of Public Works fuel station replacement. 3 sheets dated 9/30/21 by the Guilford engineer. The application is approved with the following conditions. The application is approved based upon the finding that it conforms to the zoning code and is consistent with the coastal management policies of the state of Connecticut.
Thanks. We also had, do we have some conditions on that from Kevin, George?
Yes.
All right,
Yes.
so, and we'll just add in, inclusive of conditions from the environmental planner, Kevin McGee. Did we have any other conditions from Sonia or Janice?
No.
Okay,
And we
Great.
didn't have any weigh-in from the DEP on this?
we don't tend to do
No.
that much anymore. It seems interesting.
No, we don't invite them to either.
Well, again, one of the real benefits of this relocation is getting a diesel and a gasoline tank out from underground in a flood zone to a non-floods, I believe it's zone X location. And obviously we're updating tanks from what are, I'm guessing are 20-year-old tanks. Is that a guess, George?
So I don't know. That's a good question. It's a long time.
However old they are, they're older than the new tanks that we're putting in.
They're 30-year-old.
Yeah, great.
Um,
In any event, do we have a
This is,
second on that?
this is a very good thing. I'm going to tell you, because with these above ground tanks like this, I can tell you that an incident that happened in Newington where the tank was underground and it leaked, it cost an awful lot of money to the taxpayers in the town of Newington.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of money. So the above ground tanks are really good. I really like to see a little border around it in case it does somehow leak and we aren't paying attention to it, but at least they got the cement underneath it and they're going to keep an eye on it. But I agree that underground tanks are definitely a problem. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. So do we have a second on that motion?
Second.
Great, I'll call it sounds like there's really no reason to do anything but encourage this, so I'm gonna call a vote. Richard Wallace,
Yes.
Jamie Stein,
Yes.
Alan Brown,
Yes.
Sean Cosgrove,
Yes.
Bill Freeman.
Yes.
Also, thank you, Janice. I appreciate all your patience with us.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Okay,
Thank you.
and I'm going to suggest that we not either propose a motion to approve or deny the application for the boundary change. I think we're hoping to encourage the applicant to amend their application to an MUC2 as opposed to a TS2 full zone change. Is everyone okay with that?
That's great. Makes sense.
So what are you doing? Say you're going to table it?
So we closed it and we don't have to act on it. And we will put it on the agenda for our next meeting unless the applicant amends their application or withdraws it or asks us to proceed. Is that right, George?
Yeah, why don't you make a motion? Why don't you move to table?
Okay. Would someone like to move to table this application?
So moved.
So moved.
I got a first and I got a second. Any problems with this?
No.
Okay,
No.
terrific. Thanks, guys. I'll call the vote then. Sean Cosgrove,
Yes.
Alan Brown,
Yes.
Jamie Stein,
Yes.
Richard Wallace,
Yes.
Bill Freeman,
Yes.
and I'll also vote to table this.
I do have a question for George. Can he come back and just amend it in writing and not have to go through the whole notification? No.
No, he's got to start over again.
Okay. Figured so much.
I mean, it would be nice if we could basically say, oh, yeah, sure, whatever you say you're going to do, you're going to do. But unfortunately, I think we kind of have to hedge against
Yeah.
the worst possible. And that's a horrible way to look at things, but we kind of have to hedge against what they could do versus what they're say they're going to do. And if we can, if we can accommodate what they want to do with with a more restrictive zone, and we can ask them to do that. I joke with Jeff because I have known him for a really long time. I don't think he has a problem with doing doing what they want to do and changing it in that capacity. But if I'm wrong, I'll hear about it tomorrow, I'm sure. So, what else do we have? We have Whitfield. Do we have to approve something for, did we hear anything on Whitfield and Goshen?
Yeah, now you're in your regular meeting and this is an application you can act on. It's not a public hearing.
Trying to find it, sorry. Too many papers. Too long a meeting. So this is regular meeting, Whitfield and Goshen LLC, 103 Whitfield Street, map 33, lot 103, zone C1, site plan application to build a deck. Someone here to present for Whitfield and Goshen so we can help you. Anyone?
Yes.
Oh.
Hello.
I was about to jump to Ferris Bueller's Day Off there, so thank you for helping.
Okay, good evening, commissioners. My name is Jorge. I am Mr. Monroe contractor, and we are here tonight because we want to build a new small deck at the southeast side of the property, approximately 13-foot long by 8 feet deep up there, and it's got to be with 5/4 by 6 decking composite and ASAC readings too. And also because we want to change the system 4 feet fence to 6 feet high fence all the way around in the property up there.
George, didn't we see this application or something similar to this on this property before?
Yes, you already approved the 4 feet fence up there, but right now because she doesn't want somebody throw any food to her dogs or her dogs escape out of there, so she want to apply for a 6 feet, fence there basically.
What
So
you're
basically, we're
thinking
just-
of,
we're
Phil, is
changing
there was a zoning change proposal for this property
Right,
to allow more intensive residential development, which was denied.
right. That was toward the marina side to the south of the application. But we did see the deck, et cetera, a while back. I don't remember exactly when.
Did we? Okay, I don't remember that.
Yeah, that is correct, Phil.
Thanks.
Emery,
Yes.
I'm with you. I do remember.
So
Yes, exactly.
The only change
Well,
is increasing the size of the fence from 4 feet to 6 feet.
That's number one. And number two, she want to build a deck in the southeast of the property and basically remove a system window up there
Oh, I
and
see
just
what you're
put
saying.
a French
Yeah,
door.
this is the label. This is
All right, I
labeled
see
U
the
deck
deck.
here.
That's a different part of
Okay.
the house. Yeah, correct.
well,
So
I-
which is
The only reason you're seeing this as a site plan application is because this is in a commercial zone.
So,
correct. Yeah,
If this
exactly.
were a residential zone, then this wouldn't be subject to planning and zoning jurisdiction at all.
Correct. Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
gonna-
It's
I'm gonna
because
make
it's a commercial property. Yes.
just going to make a couple of quick comments that I think you guys have done an absolutely terrific job with the roof and the
It
siding.
looks gorgeous.
Thank-
I was there today.
It's
Really
just-
beautiful.
I also,
Thank you so much. We really appreciate the comments. We try to
No.
put our best in there. Absolutely.
and
Yeah.
it speaks to, your dedication to doing the right thing within properties. And I live on Whitfield Street, so I drive by it on a daily basis, and I always appreciate when
Thank you
contractors do
so
things.
much. It's always good to hear those comments up there too. We try to do our best always for people in I know you guys wanted the town look pretty too, so that's why I try to put my best into every single project we do into as well.
Right. Are there any questions from commissioners with respect to this site plan revision? So there's a small deck going on the, call it the east side of the property heading down toward the marina.
Correct.
And then
Yeah.
an increase in the height of the fence from 4 feet to 6 feet to prevent the dogs from being fed from the restaurants.
Correct. Exactly.
All right. Any comments or questions for commissioners?
I have a comment in to thank him as well, because I was building a little free library on my down here on Old Whitfield, and I was driving by and I saw all the shingles that were this little cutoff pieces laying on the ground, and I went and asked this nice gentleman if I could pick them up, and he graciously allowed me to do it. So now I have a beautiful shingled roof on my little free library right in front of my house. It's
That's awesome.
yeah, it was so nice, and I really appreciated it.
That's terrific. Well, thank you for giving him your garbage whip. Any other questions?
Bill, you better recuse yourself from voting on this application. Bill.
That's right.
Bill, you've received compensation.
It was free.
Well, but there was value in it to you.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Got some good books if you want them.
There you go. I'm trying to find, there we go.
We have a motion.
Please read a motion.
Proposed motion, voted that the Guilford Planning and Zoning Commission approve a site plan application for a deck for Whitfield and Gossam LLC at 103 Whitfield Street, map 33, lot 103, as shown on Whitfield and Gossam proposed site plan and architectural plans, 3 sheets dated 10/3/21. The application is approved upon finding that it conforms with the zoning code.
Terrific. Any questions from the commissioners? I'll call the vote then. Alan Brown,
Yes.
Jamie Stein,
Yes.
Richard Wallace,
Yes.
Sean Cosgrove,
Yes.
Bill Freeman.
Yes.
I'll vote yes. Thank you very much for your patience with us tonight. Sorry to keep
No,
you
no,
till
no
9
problem.
o'clock.
Thank you very much, guys, for your
I look
comments,
forward to
for all
watching your
your-
project.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, really
Thank
beautiful.
you so
Thank you.
much.
Terrific.
All right. You have a good night, every single one. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Take care. See you. Thank you.
Hubbard Road is set public hearing date for 12/1. Hubbard Road is pending. Do we need a motion to set a public hearing on that, George?
It's already,
It's already set?
It's already
12/1. Yeah, no, I can't remember, Lisa. Did we?
Well, in
set-
any event, let's redo that then. Would someone like to
Yeah,
make a
go ahead.
motion to set the public hearing for 12/1 on Hubbard Road Property LLC?
So moved.
Thank you.
No, you guys are good.
We're good?
You're good.
Okay, then
Guilford Public Schools, the shed you have to do.
All right, Cliffy, you're up. Guilford Public Schools, 605 New England Road, map 84, lot 1, zone R5. Site plan to relocate a prefabricated 16 by 30 shed. Cliff, tell us why we should be doing this. We got to unmute you. Do you have a camera, Cliff?
I'm getting there. Can you hear me?
How are you?
Good. I believe Eric from KBA is also going to be online, and he was going to give the presentation if he's still here.
He is. We'll unmute him. Hold on.
Thank you.
Should we mute you, Cliff?
Yeah, I can move myself while he takes over.
This, for the record, this looks pretty basic. Right?
Yes, this is very basic. So my name's Eric Royce. I'm with Castle Booz Associates Architects representing the high school. The high school is looking for permission to put a 16 by 30 prefabricated wood frame shed over by the press box. This shed is going to be used for storage for athletic equipment. There's no services proposed for the building. It is an unconditioned building. It's just a bare wood frame. As you can see, it's got 2 garage doors that are facing the track and a man door on one side. It's very basic. The shed is going on right now we're proposing to put it on a 50 by 25 processed gravel pad. But as a prefabricated shed, it's basically just going right on top of that with no footings.
Are there any concerns from the environmental engineer or from the sanitarian, George?
I don't think so. I don't think we have any memos or comments on this.
this is just a.
So
We
way
do
I
have
would
a
look
site-
at that is no news is good news.
Yeah, we do have a site plan here if I can find it. I'm having trouble finding it. There it is.
Kevin didn't have any issues with this one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry to drag you guys here for so long.
Can you see the drawing now?
Yes.
So this is the high school track.
Yeah.
And here's the shed over on the, I don't know, whatever side that is, south side,
West side.
west side. Okay. Something is weird about the drawing, but I can't figure it out. But that's where it will be located.
Okay.
It's 150 feet from the nearest property line. There's no wetlands nearby.
Looks like there's a pretty steep grade behind it, but that, I assume you're accessing from the front.
Correct. It's access directly from the track.
Got it.
Hey.
Any questions from commissioners or any concerns?
What is under the base of it? What is it sitting on?
It's just sitting on a 6-inch deep processed gravel pad right now.
Gravel?
Yep.
And it's anchored to the ground somehow?
It shouldn't.
So you're not worried about heavy winds in a storm blowing this thing apart?
It's 20 by 30. I mean, it's a pretty big building.
Yeah, but you get 60, 80 mile an hour winds, it's in trouble.
I think because it's also tucked in below the tree line, it's pretty backed up to some heavy trees and the area is pretty well surrounded. I don't think you're gonna see that shed move even up to 100 easily. It's not gonna move that shed, especially once we load it with all the football equipment.
Well, so quick question, Cliff, is there a floor on the shed?
Yes, there is. Yep.
Yes.
So it's going to be loaded and weighted then also, correct?
Correct. We're also looking at putting in the extra infill inside, which weighs a bit as well. There'll be 5 or 6 containers of the extra infill. So that will also help weigh it down.
Does that help, Alan?
Yeah, that's what I was asking.
Terrific.
Is
Any
there
other
a-
questions?
Is there electricity for this, or is this gonna be just totally a shed with no accessories?
Totally a shed with no accessories. They are thinking about putting in a solar powered shed light, but it would not be provided with any service from the street.
Okay.
Great. Are there any questions or concerns from commissioners? Without that, would someone like to make a motion? Do we have a motion to
Have
throw
a
up?
motion?
We do have a motion.
We do.
Yeah, you should have.
Voted that the Guilford Planning and Zoning Commission approve a site plan application for Guilford Public Schools at 605 New England Road, map 84, lot 1, to locate a prefabricated shed as shown on Guilford High School accessory shed site plan review, 5 sheets by KBA Architects dated 10/7/21. This application is approved upon finding that it conforms with the zoning code.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments from commissioners? Would someone like to second the motion?
Second.
Thank you. Comments or concerns? With that said, I'll call the vote. Bill Freeman,
Yes.
Richard Wallace,
Yes.
Jamie Stein,
Yes.
Alan Brown,
Yes.
Sean Cosgrove.
Yes.
I'll also vote yes. Cliff, thank you very much for your time and efforts. We really appreciate it.
Thank you and everyone on the committee for passing this. Have a great night.
All
Thank
right,
you.
take care.
Good night.
The last item is to set up Lisa, do we need to set the public hearing date for Eagle View Homes LLC?
Yes,
No.
you do. You
That's
do.
set on.
No, you don't,
Why not?
We want,
because
You
it's
wanna-
already set.
we want to
haven't
change
voted.
that to, we want to change that to 12:15.
Oh, you want to change it?
Yes.
Thank you.
So, yeah,
Would someone like to make a motion to change the application for Eagle View Homes from 12/1 to 12/15?
So
So
moved.
moved.
Very much. Second, call it vote. Sean Cosgrove,
Yes.
Alan Brown,
Yes.
Jamie Stein.
Yes.
We're getting to the holiday season for that application too, by the way. Richard Wallace,
Yes.
Bill Freeman,
Yes.
and I'll also vote. Last commission business is Yale New Haven Hospital request an extension of an approval granted on March 24th, 2021 for placement of a temporary COVID sample collection facility at the Shoreline Medical Facility, 111 Goose Lane, map 75 lot 13 until December 31st, 2021. And they're requesting to continue operation until December 31st, 2022. Who is here to present on behalf? If you could state your name and address for the record, please.
Hi, good evening. My name is Todd Hedges. I'm Director of Facilities at Yale New Haven Hospital at York Street campus. We're requesting to extend the operations of the COVID testing site for an additional year. Unfortunately, COVID's taking longer to cease than we originally anticipated. We thought we'd be taking this thing apart this time of year, but unfortunately, with the vaccination programs that are mandatory in many institutions, if employees decline to get vaccinated, they require negative PCR testing. So we've actually seen the increase of testing. It's almost doubled in the last year. Last year, this time, we were seeing between 135 and 160 cases or samples collected a day. Right now, we're averaging between 320 to 370 a day. So
Well,
it's a busy place still.
Yeah, I mean, first off, thank you very much for all your efforts. And, I hope I speak for the commission in saying, we'll support you in doing this as long as we all need to do it.
We definitely appreciate it.
So, do we got does anyone have a problem that I need to kick him out of this meeting? Because I will. I'll just kick you out right now. Do we have a motion to extend this?
no, just wing it.
Okay, I'll throw it out there then. A motion to,
George.
I'll make a motion to continue the approval of the temporary COVID sample collection facility at the Shoreline facility to December 31st, 2022. And hope that they don't need to go past that for all of our sake.
Thank you.
Second that.
Thank you. I'll call the vote. Bill Freeman,
Yes.
Richard Wallace,
Yes.
Jamie Stein,
Yes.
Alan Brown,
Yes.
Sean Cosgrove.
Yes.
I'll vote yes. Thank you very much. I appreciate your patience and sitting through us for an hour and a half.
Not a problem. Thank you very much.
You bet. Take care.
Thank you.
Hey, before everyone leaves, why don't we make a motion to adjourn? But I don't want anyone to leave because I want to show you a couple pictures.
We
As to
wait a
why-
minute, we
I
have
have-
another,
Oh,
Yeah, I
we
have a
another
question.
motion? We have another action. Go ahead.
I do also have a question. Do we have to do the new applications as just a formality to receive them under B?
you've already done all that.
Okay.
No, you haven't. You
I didn't
didn't.
think we did.
Okay.
What did
No,
we do?
you didn't receive the 2 new applications and you still have to do the Ag Society.
Right.
Ag Society, I don't see anything about
There was a
that.
letter.
Which applications didn't we do?
What Ag Society?
So under new applications,
didn't
Matthew
look-
Griswold and Crystal Gudo and David White.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
All I have is new applications. There's nothing there.
Yeah, I'm looking at the same agenda.
You're not looking at the latest agenda, Phil. You have to look at the one I send you today.
You gotta send, the one I sent you at 7:24. I take your word for it. So
I
what
do
we
have a
need-
question about the links for the Zoom. I don't know if this is appropriate time, but if it's a PDF, I can't click on it. So where's the best place to go to just
If-
grab the link?
Yeah, if you go to the planning and zoning website, there's a link that takes you to a page with all the meeting materials. And you can download those. So what I'm trying to do is before meetings, I go and I download those to a folder on my computer. So if need be, I can share them.
Okay.
But
And the link's right in there and I can grab it.
right.
Okay. All right, cool.
So, Lisa, would you share with us what we need to approve or
Yes,
add?
I'd be happy to. I send you the agenda.
Lisa, would you be
Today.
kind enough to share with me what we need to?
You need to approve the new applications for Matthew Griswold and Crystal Gaudio and David White. They're receiving set public hearing dates for 12/1.
Would someone like to make that motion?
Make a motion that we receive both of those new applications for 12/1.
Thank you.
Second.
And then the Guilford Ag Society would like approval for a special event for food trucks to be held at the fairgrounds July 30th and 31st, 2022. It's a commercial event.
You may remember from the special permit revision we did a year or so ago, or whenever it was, that whenever they have a so-called commercial event, they have to get approval from the Planning and Zoning Commission.
So are we looking to approve that right now, or are we looking to put that on the agenda?
You can approve it now if you want, or table it if you don't, if you're not going to get any more information.
Okay.
I mean, we can.
Frankly, I think, and help me if anyone has a problem, I think the Ag Society has been a pretty good neighbor of late. And I do not have a problem if someone wanted to make a motion to approve the food truck event for those 2 dates as mentioned.
So I'll make a motion that the Guilford Agricultural Society can use a food truck at a special event to be held in the fairgrounds on the weekend of July 10th through, or excuse me, July 30th through 31st on 2022.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
I'll call the vote. Bill Freeman,
Yes.
Richard Wallace,
Yes.
Jamie Stein,
Yes.
Alan Brown,
Yes.
John Cosgrove.
Yes.
I'll also vote to approve that. Anything else we need to do, Lisa? Any housekeeping I'm missing?
Minutes.
But you want to show us pictures.
Let me
Okay.
report
All
that
right.
we do
So,
have a new.
why don't we make a motion? Is there a motion to?
I have
approve-
read and approve of the minutes, Phil.
A motion to approve the minutes? I
Yes.
got that from Jamie. We have a second on that?
Second.
Thank you very much. Jamie
So,
Stein,
Bill,
Yes.
oh, I'm sorry.
sorry.
Are you
Alan
voting?
Brown,
Yes.
Sean Cosgrove,
Yes.
Richard Wallace.
Abstain.
Okay. Wow. Killed the whole night. We were 100%. So you, Bill Freeman.
Well, I wasn't
Yes.
here.
I know. And I'll also vote to approve the minutes. Why don't we make a motion to adjourn, then we can turn off.
Before you do, Phil, I want to announce that we do have a new zoning enforcement officer.
You do?
That is to say, we've hired a new zoning enforcement officer who will begin work on December 6th. His name is Matthew Abbott. And he's a young guy, energetic and full of vim and vigor. He has a master's degree in city planning from University of Buffalo. And he has a little bit of experience in the zoning enforcement world. So I think we made a good choice and hopefully have a smooth transition.
Yay, congrats.
Yeah, it was
Great.
an interesting process of kind of being patient and then waiting for the right person to come along. So we'll leave it at that. What I'll do is I'm gonna make a motion to adjourn. We can stop the recording, but I would like to share with you some pictures just to share Alan's concern about underground tanks. So would someone like to make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
With no further business before the Planning and Zoning Commission, make a motion